Hey guys, hope you guys are having a great holiday. This is Coach D here, and there's been some requests for me to do a video of some of the things that I have in my garage here. Now, I do have a few videos of just a tutorial walkthrough of what I have. I have not posted those primarily because I keep getting stuff. And so as I keep getting more and more new stuff, I forget to post the original video. So maybe I'll go back and post those older videos. But I'm gonna go through here really fast and some of the things I do have currently in here so you guys can kind of have an idea, and maybe later on go through why I purchased what I purchased. So at the front here, what you can see is a Rogue Echo bike. We can see a Peloton bike and a treadmill. Sorry, not a treadmill, a trampoline. The trampoline is for my son. He's 5 years old and he loves jumping. We had a baby trampoline and I decided in the marketplace to find a cheaper trampoline that was bigger for him, and that's one of his favorite things. So I gotta shoot this video pretty fast so he can get out here and play with this trampoline. As you can see, it's a pretty sunny day behind me. The Peloton bike is actually for my wife. She really likes cycle class, and when the pandemic hit, a lot of classes were closing down, and it's one of those decisions where we decided to, because this is her favorite mode of cardio, we decided to purchase the bike for her. She's the only person that uses it. I will tell you, the apps that Peloton has online are actually phenomenal, and so I do recommend it. I don't have a finder's fee or anything like that, but I do recommend buying a bike if that is something that you enjoy, because the apps are so useful. Now, looking at my wall here, you'll see a bunch of random things. So we have equipment for his belt, jump ropes, attachments for the cable machine that we'll talk about in a second, a squash racket, bike helmet, weight dip belt, just all kinds of handy knick-knack stuff for just everyday training. And this black bag straight ahead, you'll actually see that's a ladder. So when we do speed agility drills and stuff like that, that's what that one is. Now, stepping further out, you'll see I have some weights on this awesome marketplace find. This was a Lat Pulldown. I found this before the pandemic. It cost me 60 bucks plus, well, 60 bucks even with the weights. So it was a great find here. It's a combo Lat Pulldown row attachment. The seat will come up so I can use that, and this will pull out. You'll also notice I have the Prime attachments on here, and I find these are great for lat pull downs. So that was a really good buy that I recently did. If you look down here, you'll see that I have the handles down here, which were a gift to me from one of my online clients, and so I decided to go out and buy the landmine attachment as well. You'll also notice that I have DC blocks here. I use those because sometimes you need to adjust height when you're training, and so like if you're thinking about calf raises or you're thinking about belt squats or something like that, height is a very important thing for your depth and your range of motion. And so getting the DC blocks was a pretty good buy. You'll also see some other attachments like the Elite row bar. I like using that one. And you'll see this big Frankenhyper here. Now, this is a very expensive purchase. I would not necessarily recommend this for the average person, but since I run a business, it kind of pays for itself. The reverse hyper portion of it is phenomenal. The back extension and the leg glute ham raise part of it, not so much, but it's still a really great machine. There are cheaper ones on the marketplace, so I definitely would probably look into one of the cheaper ones if I was someone buying one of those guys. But back work, really great. And if you also notice in the corner here, I have the Rogue belt squat. This is one of my first big time purchases for the garage. It's a phenomenal machine, and you can see I have the DC blocks on there to help with height and range of motion for people that are taller that need to get more depth. I do use the Rogue belt as the, probably I'd say there's better belts on the market if you want to use a different belt for the attachment. I do sometimes use my chain dip belt instead because I prefer it. The Rogue belt just doesn't feel good. If you look in the corner, we have the Plyo Boxes from Rep Fitness. I have my neighbor come over here. She does some volleyball training, and I have some other kids that do some track and football training. So plyometrics is a big part of our workout routine. So these guys are great, so I can adjust the height between them. So we go from 30 inches all the way down to 16 inches. The DC blocks will actually go down to 12 if I stack all 6 of them together. So it gives me a full range of heights. You look over here is a catch-all shelf. I used to do Muay Thai boxing, My wife has done cardio kickboxing, and we're looking at getting our son into boxing as well. So you can see lots of gloves up there and things of that nature. These boxes, the Theragun, I use usually for warm-up stuff, and the most popular thing for cleaning out your garage is a leaf blower. I need to clean out my garage. And moving on over, you'll notice that you see a yoke bar here is an SS yoke from Elite Fitness. Also a trap and hex bar and the storage unit here. This storage unit, as I walk back out, it's actually the Iron Bear from Sornex. Another really expensive purchase, but definitely it's saved some shelf space for me. As you can see, I have a bunch of center mass bells up, and I've actually gone through and I painted the center mass bells just to kind of make it easier, because when they're all black, it's really hard to tell the numbers. And so this makes it easier for me to tell the numbers apart. Now, you'll see the handles from the Ultimate Dip attachment. This was a great buy. He's blowing up, so I definitely will tell you guys, if you're looking at something like adding tools that aren't necessarily from big time realtors, he's a great guy to get with, and I'll try to put his information down below. You also see some handles for just basic lifting, some wrist stuff. My wife's clip-on Peloton shoes, her lifting shoes. We had some accidents on trying to get the equipment colored correctly from Sornex, so you can see an extra pad that I have. Yoga blocks, kettlebells, handles, stuff like that. I haven't finished out my med ball stuff yet, but trying to get on that, and you can see Bruce Lee in the corner here. Now coming down, I have a glide roller here, a glute ham roller. For sometimes when people are struggling on this is just an easier tool for them, so my wife actually loves that. You'll also notice I have a catch-all with some inertia waves and some bands and some just ankle weights and stuff in this bin here that I stuff underneath. And we have the Prime Solos to kind of work on range of motion and depth as well. Now, coming back this way, gonna look at some more junk. I used to be a massage therapist from way back in the day, so I had my massage therapist table. You have some hip halo stuff for band work with glutes. And then coming down here, you'll see some just regular strength bands, some chains, and then a weighted vest. And then our coat hanger, which is a really good cheap buy. I would recommend that. And then some dad kid stuff, you know, my lifting shoes, my son's bike, then our weights, and then a new guy that I'm probably gonna do a review on is right here. That was a Christmas purchase here. Every gym's gotta have a microwave and a mini fridge for when you get hungry in here. My diplomas and stuff up there, all framed up, and I don't even put them up in my gym. So just for all those people who like to have multiple college degrees and stuff like that and don't hang it around. Look in the rack from Sornex here. We'll talk about a bar. My bar is from Vulcan. It's the Absolute Strength bar. I have some old weights that I had before, and this is a recent purchase for my son for Christmas because he likes to lift in the morning with my wife. Then we have the Step Up. This rack is actually the higher end half rack from Sornex. I would definitely recommend probably going with someone a little cheaper, because a rack is a rack. Now, if you're running a business, you probably want something on the higher end. But at the same time, if you're just lifting, you don't need a really expensive rack. Now, you will notice that I have jammer arms on here. And then I have my cross symmetry bands on here tied in. So that way I can do my warm up. My clients can do their warm up with the bands. And if we need to use anything with jammer arms, we can take our safeties off and then put the handles, as you can see right there, on the rack. I do have a mini little space heater. It doesn't heat up the whole gym, but it heats it enough to get things going. Then we'll look over here. You can see power block station going up to 90 pounds. These were what I had before I went and got the actual center mass bells. Now I will say those are a really good buy because they save space, and price-wise versus ordering something for Sornex with shipping saves you a lot of money. The trouble is when you get to 90s, they take up a lot of space when you're trying to press with yourself. So you're talking about female clients, not an issue at all. But male clients, you know, when you're trying to grab a 90-pound dumbbell, it's a lot of space here, trying to get some pressing and some other movement. So the center mass bells, which almost all my clients prefer to use those, are probably the better purchase at the lower weights. Some things I didn't show you guys here. We got some pads here that I use from some of the athletic clients. We got micro weights here that I use from changing. And then we got our deadlift jack. We got a Sure Rock from Sornex here. For my track guys, my throwers to come in here. And then we're coming over closer. We're stepping outside into the sun. This is a seated calf raise. And I actually got this free. And so this was, again, a pre-pandemic buy. Not really a buy, it was just a drive across the Metroplex and someone just gave it to me. We got DC blocks in for our landmine. A lot of good use out of the landmine here. Just an old bar that my wife had that we throw in there. And then the last thing that it looks like I may have forgot to mention here is our Tibialis razor, so a tibia machine from Titan. And so this guy is really good for people who have shin splints. So it's something you might look into. It's one of the cheaper brands on the market. And then I have a Rep Fitness adjustable bench here. I do have the attachment if you look for the actual leg part there to do abs. So I hope this was a quick little 10-minute tour, not very quick, but kind of gives you an idea of what I have in here and how I'm using them. If you guys have questions or want me to go more in depth to what everything is, oh, I forgot. The screen door. So as you can guys see, something's just popping down here. So I have this guy primarily because in Texas there's a lot of mosquitoes, and so this really is a help saver to keep the mosquitoes out of the garage. So it's easily just opens up just like that, and I can walk in and out. The big trouble is this is very expensive and very tough to do on your own. So definitely if you do purchase one of these, you're gonna be putting some work in. I definitely recommend some of the other screens that are a lot cheaper if that's something you have a problem with mosquitoes. But for us, me running a business, the price is worth it just to make sure the clients that were coming in here were happy. All right guys, if you have questions, let me know. Take care, happy holidays.